People who prefer to use the thinking in decision-making tend to look at the logical consequences of a choice or action. They try to mentally remove themselves from a situation and to examine it objectively and analyze all of the different ramifications. Their goal is an objective standard of truth and the application of all principles. Their strengths include figuring out what is wrong with something. Those who prefer thinking are excellent at analyzing and solving technical problems, directing logical process toward a desired goal. Those who prefer thinking over the other functions really analyze readily, and they can focus on problem solving with great determination. They love cause and effect reasoning, being able to point out very detailed facts. They strive for an impersonal, objective truth. They're tough-minded, and they value fairness and seek justice overall. Experiencing thinking is part of the essence. It's really part of that thinking function that is a detached view, where one separates themselves from the decision-making situation to assess the pros and cons and even the consequences in a very objective manner. Try to look at decisions as though they were mathematical functions and focus only on the information relevant to the task. Try to find the most efficient way to reach a goal. Take a piece of writing you have done, a report at work, for example, and go through it, deleting every extraneous word. Where you have adjectives, try instead to find a noun that conveys that concept. Where you have adverbs, try to find a verb that includes the concept. Use a thesaurus as needed. To experience introverted thinking, think about when you have a decision to make. Write down the various options and analyze each one very logically. What are the pros and cons if the option is selected? What are the consequences, both immediate and long-term? Be sure to include the tangible issues and those that may be hard to see at first. For example, if you add weekly team meetings at work, what will people have to give to make up time for them? Or when considering the expense of a new equipment, what is the cost? Take up a game such as chess or a computer game, study the strategies, and approach playing with a plan in mind that includes the next dozen moves and possible counter moves. Really work on your if-then thinking. Identify a current or economic problem that interests you and about which you may have some really strong feelings. Go to the library, research it, take many notes, gather facts and theories, suspend any judgment during the process. Afterwards, sit down with your information and outline 2 logical arguments supporting both sides of the view. Include a note about the evidence which supports each point. Lastly, to experience introverted thinking, at a meeting, sit quietly, listen intently. Search for major points and issues underlying the discussion. Look for how those may be connected to each other. Formulate a summary that is concise and clearly structured. Write it down if necessary. Present this summary to the group as a way of establishing a base to move on. As with all wonderful experiences, be sure to record in your journal, your learning journal, how you have experienced thinking.